Why sharks never stop swimming. Imagine you're a shark. You're hundreds of feet below the surface, surrounded by dark blue water. There are no roads, no resting places, no beds, and definitely no chairs. So you keep moving. You swim forward and forward and forward, even while searching for food, even while escaping danger, even while traveling through the open ocean. But here's the strange part. What happens if you stop? For some sharks, stopping isn't just a bad idea. It can become a serious problem. And the reason has almost nothing to do with exercise. It has to do with breathing. Most people imagine sharks swimming because they're powerful predators. And yes, they are. But swimming is much more than transportation for many sharks. It's part of how they stay alive. To understand why, we need to look at something sharks have been doing for hundreds of millions of years. Moving water through their gills. Unlike humans, sharks don't have lungs. Instead, they breathe using gills. Water enters through the shark's mouth, passes over the gill structures, and oxygen from that water moves into the bloodstream. Then the water leaves through openings around the gills. Simple, right? But here's where things get interesting. Some shark species rely heavily on a process called ram ventilation. Basically, they swim forward and allow water to flow naturally through their mouths and across their gills. The faster they move, the more water can pass over those gills. So for these sharks, swimming is breathing. The water is no longer being pushed efficiently through its gills, and if the shark stays still for too long, getting enough oxygen can become difficult. That's why some famous sharks, including great white sharks and mako sharks, are known for needing near continuous movement to maintain effective water flow across their gills. But here's something most people get wrong. Not every shark has to swim constantly. This is where the story gets even more fascinating. Some sharks have another trick. They can actively pump water over their gills while remaining relatively still. Think of it like the difference between standing in a river and using a pump to bring water to you. Nurse sharks, for example, can rest on the sea floor while still moving water across their gills. So the idea that every shark dies immediately if it stops swimming isn't quite true. But for certain species, constant movement is extremely important. And this difference tells us something incredible about shark evolution. Think about the ocean. For millions of years, sharks have had to solve a basic problem. How do you breathe underwater? Humans solved it by developing lungs and breathing air. Some sharks evolved a system that works beautifully with the environment around them. They keep moving, and the ocean keeps supplying the water they need.
It's almost like their entire body was designed around motion. Their streamlined shape reduces drag. Their powerful tail pushes them forward. Their fins help control direction. And their gills extract oxygen from the water. Everything works together. Swim, breathe, survive. But there's another surprising consequence. Swimming constantly costs energy. A shark can't simply eat once and forget about food for weeks. Every movement requires energy. And that means sharks have to be incredibly efficient. They don't just swim randomly. Many species use ocean currents to reduce the energy they need. Some glide. Some alternate between powerful tail movements and periods of smoother movement. And some sharks can travel enormous distances while searching for food, mates, or better conditions. So when you see a shark slowly cruising through the ocean, it may look effortless, but underneath that calm movement is a remarkable biological machine. And now we can understand the real reason behind the question. Why do sharks never stop swimming? The answer isn't simply because they have to. The truth is more interesting. For some sharks, continuous swimming helps keep water flowing across their gills so they can breathe efficiently. For others, stopping is perfectly possible because they can actively pump water over their gills. So sharks aren't simply swimming because they're restless. They are using movement as part of their survival system. And that changes the way you look at them. The next time you see a shark moving endlessly through the blue, don't just think it's hunting. Think about what you're actually watching. A predator, using the ocean itself to breathe. And perhaps that's one of the strangest things about sharks. For some of them, stopping isn't resting. It's a biological problem. So here's a question for you. If you could watch one shark species underwater for an entire day, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy simple stories that reveal the surprising science behind animals, stick around for the next one.